So I trust that you can see the first slide. It's not that difficult. Welcome to this webinar about hybrid learning, hosted by our wonderful hosts for February 2022 about hybrid learning. We're very excited about this opportunity and also grateful for everyone who's joining us today. If you have your microphone enabled, please mute it, because anything you say and do will be part of the recording that we've just started. And so we'd like to make that an intentional activity as much as possible. So what's on the agenda for today? Let me show you what we have lined up. Please, if you want, say something about yourself in the chat. Same applies also to our hosts. Please say something in the chat about yourself. Of course, you'll have the full opportunity to introduce yourself by video and voice very shortly. Also, we're going to discuss hybrid learning for quite an extensive amount of time, 25 minutes altogether. And I'll be saying something about the TweetMeets. I have a few slides about that, and there will be some time left over for questions and answers. This is the first time we organize this webinar, and so unexpected things will happen, fun things will happen. We'll just allow ourselves to celebrate the fact that we've come this far. We've worked for several weeks to promote the TweetMeet and do all kinds of activities to make the TweetMeets known to our followers. So thank you all for joining us today. I'd like to start off by showing you a couple of introductions that have been recorded by a couple of our hosts who unfortunately cannot be with us today. And so I will be playing back those recordings if I can find the button that allows me to play back my audio, which I forgot. So just a second, I'm going to do that one more time. That always happens. Include computer sound, and then do this. All right, so this is Andy. Andy.
Hi friends, Andy Knieven here from Zionsville, Indiana in the United States. I first want to introduce myself to you and welcome you to today's webinar as we prepare for an epic global Teams EDU chat. This TweetMeet on Tuesday, February 15th, focused on hybrid learning, is certainly a passion of mine, as my school district, Zionsville Community Schools, has implemented e-days or e-learning for really the last 10 years. And so I want to share my passion and enthusiasm as we can learn together to empower our students to learn regardless of their location in hybrid learning.
So that was Andy, and the next person.
Hi friends.
Hi everyone, let me introduce myself.
Malia.
I'm Dalia Lasawi from Egypt, Vice Head of Edu Department at Mansoura College International School. Sorry for not being able to be with you today in this webinar, but I am so happy to be a host for this month to chat about a topic like hybrid learning, which is so important to us all teachers around the world and to students as well. Please join us on Tuesday, February 15. I'm looking forward to seeing you all. Bye-bye. Hi, everyone.
Hello, everyone. I'm Diana McGee from Kentucky in the USA, and I'm very sorry I'm not able to join you today for the first ever webinar prior to a TweetMeet. I hope you are able to come back on February 15th when we get to discuss one of my favorite topics, hybrid learning. One of the reasons I really enjoy discussing hybrid learning so much is because I believe in giving students a choice. I've been in education a long time, and I've seen the difference that it makes when students have a choice in their learning. So please join us on February 15th. Looking forward to seeing you.
Hello, my name is Ryan McGinnis, and I'm coming to you today from Bradford, Pennsylvania, here in the United States. Although I cannot be there in person today for the webinar before the TweetMeet, I hope you can join me and my colleagues on February 15th for the actual TweetMeet on #hybrid learning. I feel meeting the students' needs through a variety of methods, applications, and resources provides the best avenue for student achievement, and this can all be accomplished through hybrid learning. I hope you join us for the conversation again on February 15th on Twitter. Hope to see you soon.
So those were the 4 introductions by people who, 4 of our hosts who couldn't attend this webinar today. And I'd like to now continue with introductions by the other hosts. Starting, so we're going in alphabetical order to make it really easy. So I'd like to invite Anna as our first host to join and present herself.
Wow, thank you so much. Okay, let me start. So I'm Anna Tkachuk, a language teacher and a teacher trainer as well from Russia and currently based in Kyiv. I'm often a speaker on how to use educational technologies in the classroom to support and promote inclusion and accessibility. I'm also founder of Teachers Love Edu and run my YouTube channel where actually you can find lots of great practical webinars and tutorials from the best global Edu heroes. And I'm super excited to be one of the hosts for this TweetMeet event, especially on hybrid learning, because it's like super hot and popular topic for discussion these days. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Anna. So I think the next person is Kelly. Am I correct?
I think so. I think I'm next up. Hey, my name is Kelly Christofferson. I am a grade 4-5 teacher, and I teach at the University of Regina. I have a PhD in teachers' use of social media and using technology. And I'm excited about discussing hybrid learning, mainly for the fact that hybrid learning has become so important, especially now that we've spent the last 2 years dealing with moving into online, offline, face-to-face learning. And so being able to provide continuity for our students is so important. And hybrid learning allows us to do that. It allows us to transition and to move our learning no matter where we are. I just did a check and I've been doing hybrid learning since 2007. So I've been doing this for a little while now, and I keep learning every single time that I try something new. So I'm super excited about this. I'm super excited about sharing and seeing what everybody else has to say.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you. All right, Mohammed, are you next?
Yes. Yeah. My name is Mohammed Yasser Amna from United Arab Emirates. I'm an e-learning coordinator, K-12 e-learning coordinator at Emirates National School. Our school Microsoft Showcase School from 2019. And we are using Microsoft Teams from 2019. We started with grade 10, 11, and then now we have from K to 12, all students, all staff, everybody in our schools. We have now 6 campuses. We are all using Office 365 tools. So we have Outlook, Teams meeting. We start using Teams we start using Teams very good when we start after COVID. So all our students go online and we create accounts for them. And then we have all teachers going online. Also, we're training them how to use these Teams meetings. And now everybody using Office 365 account, Office 365 at our schools.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your introduction, Mohammed. I can definitely recommend everyone to follow Mohammed and everything that he does. He has a very rich YouTube channel. And so, yeah, just wonderful. Thank you. So our next host that I'd like to introduce is Preti. Preti, are you there? Yes, you are. Do you want to come up here?
Yeah. Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Myself, Preeti Vilasrao Kantake, primary educator from India, and I am I have 15 years of experience in teaching profession. I am postgraduate in English subject, and as well as I am now doing my PG in education. And as I told you that I have 15 years of experience in rural area where students don't get chance to learn something beyond the classes. They just know the typical method of teaching. But the last year we have tried with Office 365, and we have give them opportunities to learn something new. Just as we are going to discuss on 15th Feb about hybrid learning. So last year we have created all 1100 Office 365 accounts for our teachers and students, and we have used in our classrooms. And through that we have traveled more than 25 countries, and we have experienced how we can give choices to learn something to the children. And I know that every child is different, every child has different quality and different interest. So with the help of hybrid learning we can give them all. Thank you so much.
Preeti, you are such a star with everything that you do, from building your school's website to training your colleagues with only a mobile phone available. I bow to you for everything that you do for your students and the families around you. Really, really respect what you do. Ryan is not here. He's usually in my alphabetic order for hosts. So we're going to skip Ryan and invite Sana to speak to us. Sana.
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm Sana Noor from India, and I'm working as a primary ICT coordinator in Pathway School Noida, which follows the International Baccalaureate program. And I'm really passionate about raising a generation of empathetic problem finders and solvers. And I truly believe that a technology integrated program is most effective when we always keep the why of learning at the core and not the how and what. And I am super excited to be a part of this amazing group of educators from across the globe, and looking forward to share and exchange ideas and thoughts.
Thank you so much for being with us, Sana. It's a pleasure to work with you. Thank you for all that you've contributed in supporting the TweetMeets and promoting them and inviting new people to the program. Thank you so much. And then we have from Tunisia, Sausan. Are you there, Sausan?
Hello.
Hi, Sausan. Go ahead.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm super excited to be here today with you to share and listen to you. It's such a pleasure to be here. My name is Thompson, and I am an English teacher from Tunisia. I'm teaching actually in a middle school. My students are 13 and 14 years old, so they are teenagers. I am really so passionate about using technology in my teaching in my classes. I'm actually using my Office 365, and I started online education in 2020 in the first lockdown that happened in our country, and it was really that starting point to create and install a platform, an official platform under the control of our Ministry of Education. Online education really helped me a lot to understand the needs of my students. I started training them on many platforms and tools, web tools, especially Kahoot and Microsoft Forms, and of course Microsoft Teams, because I used exclusively Microsoft Teams for video conferencing. Every year we also create and design projects of course, with the integration of technology. And we won many competitions, as for example, in 2020, we won the best eTwinning project with my students, and also we won the school label. Now our school is recognized at the European level for being a school which perfectly integrates and use technology in education. Also, last year in 2021, I was selected as the best teacher of the world with Axe Education Global Teacher Award 2021. It was really something amazing. We were on cloud 9 of happiness because that prize, it was really as a recognition of many efforts along with my students and my fellow colleagues. I'm super excited to be here today to share my experience. It's not really a rich experience in hybrid learning, but I'm really interested in started hybrid learning because we need it nowadays. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, it's awesome. That's so sweet. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're almost through the entire list of hosts, but we have two more coming up. And the first one is Tim Clark from the UK. Tim, are you ready?
I am indeed. Thank you very much. And lovely to be here. Real honour, to be honest, listening to everyone else's introductions. Just amazing things that are being done by teachers all around the world to support children in their learning, which is fabulous. So my name's Tim Clark. I'm really proud to be head teacher of Cornerstone Primary, which is a fairly small school in the south of the UK. We are a Microsoft Showcase school, and we cater for 4 to 11-year-olds. Although we're small, we have a big ambition, big vision, which is about growing an inspirational learning community. Our aim is to try and inspire the children, but more often than not, they inspire each other and definitely inspire us. And the way that we define that is we talk about that together we're going to ignite a love of learning, that we're really going to get the children passionate and wanting to learn and getting that natural curiosity and keeping it and nourishing it. And we also talk about encouraging and empowering partnerships. And what we've seen, as I'm sure colleagues across the world have seen in the last few years, is how well the children can be empowered by hybrid learning, by using digital tools to find things out for themselves, to take that agency, which is fabulous. And the final aspect for us is about nurturing a growth mindset, so that actually the children want to receive the feedback. They want to try new things. They're willing to take risks and to learn. And if things don't work out, that's fine, because they'll learn from those mistakes. So for us, really excited to be here with everybody talking about hybrid learning, because it fits in so well with our belief that actually it's about learning always and always. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim. You're such an incredible inspiration. For those of you who haven't gone through Tim Clark's Twitter profile, I highly recommend that you do. It's Tim_Jump Clark, if I am pronouncing it correctly.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah, and Tim frequently invites anyone who wants to participate in any of his webinars. He's much more experienced in these things than I am, and also organizes all kinds of inspiration sessions. So this is quite a resource to follow. Thank you, Tim. And lastly, I'd like to invite Victoria Thompson from the US to give us her introduction. Hi, Victoria, welcome.
Yes, hey everybody, my name is Victoria Thompson, and I'd be remiss if I also didn't introduce this guy who is hanging out in my office. His name is Ran, but I am a former STEM, can you sit? Thank you. I'm a former STEM integration transformation coach. So a lot of the work that I did was really pushing STEM integration, technology integration, and various tools in classrooms. You know, we have moments where schools say, I'm one-to-one, and then you show up and there might be no technology, no training, or sometimes there's even a disparity in tools and access. So a lot of the work that I did was just making those spaces more equitable. I recently accepted a position at Microsoft as an education industry executive. I'm in their K through 12 division, and I start on Monday, so I'm very excited. But when I was in the classroom and even as a coach, we were remote and hybrid kind of in flux. I am in Washington State. I'm in Tacoma, Washington, which is about 45 to an hour outside of Seattle City Center. And it felt like every week we were receiving conflicting information as to whether or not we were going to be in person, be remote, or be hybrid. They eventually settled on hybrid, but it was only 30% of our learners in person, with 70% of our learners at home. So it wasn't really like hybrid, it was more like concurrent teaching. And I learned a lot during those 2 years because I kind of had to do all of the things. We had to be able to reach our kids at home while still simultaneously reaching our kids at school. We had to make sure that we were having a viable experience for our kids at school, right? Because we don't just want them to be looking at a computer on Microsoft Teams while, at home, the kids are doing something else. So it stretched and growed my skill set in a lot of different ways. And I'm really excited to share what I've learned and also just kind of my noticings and wonderings surrounding how we can drive this forward. Because I'm a very big believer in if you give students options, they typically don't like them being taken away. So I feel like hybrid's going to be here to stay for a bit. And I'm just excited to be here and be chatting with all of you today.
Wonderful. Thank you, Victoria. I know how busy you have been, and you must be jet lagged from all the plane rides you've been on in the past weeks. So I'm super, super excited to have you here today. I'd also like to welcome everyone else who has joined us today, especially knowing that our next segment in this webinar is going to be a live conversation with all of you, which will be a challenge, a little bit of a challenge about hybrid learning. So I would like to propose, if you want to come off mute, then first stick up your hand using the Microsoft Teams meeting, raise your hand feature. That way, Anita, my teammate, and I will know that you want to say something. Then, of course, enable your video, enable your microphone. We can mute you, but we cannot take you off mute, right? So you'll have to unmute yourself, and then just say something about yourself, but also allow others to speak as well. So keep your contribution to the point, meaningful, and not too long, okay? All right, so we have our first raised hand. Go ahead and come off mute. First person is Syed Kalim Hashmi. What would you like to say, Syed? Go ahead, unmute your microphone.
He is unmuted, but the sound is not so good.
No. So I propose, Syed, why don't you type your contribution in the chat, because your microphone is causing a lot of noise for us. So I'm muting you now. Please type your contribution in the chat, okay? All right. Who else would like to contribute? I'd like to welcome Karin from Sweden, who has joined, and Sean is here. Hi, Sean, who's always supporting the TweetMeets and learning as we go along. I sometimes coach Sean a little bit about his usage of Twitter, and he's learning about Twitter search and lots of other things. So all good. Thank you for being here today. So who else would like to say something? Please raise your hand, and we'll have a nice conversation about hybrid learning. What does it look like for you? What do you like about it? What are your challenges? So we have Archana, who is at the top of the list. Go ahead, Archana. Go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. I am Archana Ramrao Ramangire from India. I'm a secondary teacher, and I want to join your team, Microsoft team, and do something for my students and myself also.
Thank you so much. You're welcome. You're welcome. Are you teaching remotely right now? Do you practice hybrid learning right now, or what is your situation?
No, ma'am, I have not idea about this, but I wanted to know and join.
Oh, that's so nice. Well, by all means, just enjoy the conversation then. Thank you. And
Okay,
Deepak is also here. Deepak is among our most loyal contributors to the TweetMeets, always is on top of everything going on. Deepak, do you want to enable your video and your microphone?
Hi everyone, my name is Deepak. I am a primary teacher in government school in India. I am also excited and eager to attend every TweetMeet, and it makes us learn things, hybrid learning, including and learning environment, class community, lesson, design, and excited to feature events. I am a master in Minecraft Education Edition, and I teach every concept in every subject through Minecraft. For example, math, history, geography, and student it's very like, and output is very big, because a student don't see in environment like mountains, Everest, and any other place, and I teach them through Minecraft each and every things they do not have see in future in past times. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us and for always supporting the TweetMeets and contributing. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Very nice. So who would like to say something about what hybrid learning looks like at their school? Are you still practicing hybrid learning scenarios, or have you left that behind you? What is your current situation? Tim, do you want to say something?
Yeah, it's been interesting in terms of that current situation, in that we've had of our 11 teachers, actually 8 of them have been off for a period of time during this last 5-6 weeks of school. And because of the work we've done, in some ways almost, it's been a better deal when teachers have been self-isolating and working from home. So we had our oldest class, for example, the teacher was able to be online, do the input to the class in school who were being supervised by another member of staff. We had the children who were also self-isolating at home. And actually for us, from a hybrid point of view, that worked really well. It's more of a challenge, I have to say, when the teacher is actually in the class. And I think going back to what Victoria was saying, that whole trying to manage a class and make it meaningful and real, whilst also engaging with children at home, I don't know quite how the teachers multitask it. So that's sort of our current position.
Right. I do remember about a year ago, I was a member of the Microsoft Education Engineering engagement team, and we organized remote school visits. In the past years before this, those visits were in person, but of course those couldn't continue. And so we had those virtual school visits, as they were called. And some of those were actually partially in class and partially teaching remotely. And that was really interesting to observe the students that were in class as opposed to the students who were at home, and how the teacher was managing to keep everyone engaged and involved, and how the activities were different depending on the location of the students and their levels and their interests. So yeah, it only made my respect for educators even bigger. All right, if you're not speaking, then please keep your microphone muted as much as possible, because we're hearing some noises from people causing disruption. I was about to ask Sean to take the microphone, but he has left the meeting. Next, Sana, do you want to say something, Sana?
Yeah, hi. I also want to share my experience so far in the remote and the hybrid learning scenario where last term, the whole semester from August till the Christmas holidays, we were hybrid, where we started off, just like somebody had quoted, we started off, I think Tim just said that we started off with 30% in school, no, Victoria said, and 70% online. But then that.
Ooh, I think we lost Sana. I think we lost her. Okay, let's continue with Sean. Sean, do you want to take the microphone?
Yes, I've got it. I'm on my mobile, so I pressed the wrong button. Apologies. My hand's low. Yeah. Yes. Oh, it's hello, Tim, as well, and Tim and Henry, and my fellows in my team staff, and what they're doing in their school is amazing. I just love following everything they do, and I think for me, we're not doing any remote or hybrid teaching, and I'm so sad about that because we achieved so much with our teaching hybrid and remotely, but I've managed to carry on with my meetings. So instead of having to go all across the country and across the southeast, my meetings are now hybrid on Teams, and I use Power Automate to send out feedback forms. And even just this week, I started using SharePoint to read the feedback and give it a RAG rating. So yellow, orange or red. And then depending on the RAG rating, it would then send out an email to the employer, saying, oh, we need to sort of work in this area. So I'm so glad at last I've got some way of carrying on with this remote hybrid. But yeah, I'm kind of a little bit sad that some organizations haven't embraced it more really, or even, governments, to be fair.
Yeah, I can imagine. It constantly feels like you need to switch from one approach to another, just depending on what does work and what doesn't, given the circumstances. And it can be every day can be different. That's what I'm hearing from you also. So it does help that you're very skilled and can quickly jump from one approach to another. But I can imagine it's very tiring. I'd like to give Syed Kaleem one more. Victoria, I'll come to you shortly, but I also want to give Syed Kaleem, who has recently joined our TweetMeet community on Twitter, I believe. Syed, is your microphone working now?
Yeah.
Do you want to say something?
Yeah. First of all, I want to thank Ms. because she introduced me to this huge platform of and after
Syed, your microphone is not working well. I'm sorry. I need to interrupt you. No, sorry. Your microphone is not working well. Sorry. So Syed, please, I understand you have something to contribute. So please use the chat to type your contribution, and maybe on the next webinar, if we do this again next month, you'll have a better microphone or different equipment or something to use so that we can allow you to speak. Thank you very much. Okay, Victoria, go ahead. What would you like to talk about?
Yeah, so a lot of us have been talking about kind of like the school and also teacher lens. I think something else to consider as well, especially if you're a school leader, like a principal or a director or a head of schools that's listening in, is that hybrid was really one of the moments where I recognized how important it is for school leaders to really lead the way with technology integration. There have been several instances where I meet with principals or heads of schools or directors or whoever, and they're really interested in the technology, but they're not exactly sure how teachers are using it, or they're not exactly sure how they're using it themselves. So when I was teaching at a private independent school, kind of like leading the way with Microsoft Teams back in, I want to say it was like 2019, 2020, we selected Microsoft Teams because it was a private independent boarding school. We had a lot of students that were coming in from other countries and then going back home during long breaks or maybe even during the summer. So Microsoft Teams was able to provide that solution for us. And I was already familiar with Teams, but I was kind of the one that was doing all the technology training on it. And it ended up being a really viable solution and continues to be one. But that was kind of like a learning moment for me where I was thinking, they don't know how to use it because they've never had to before, right?
Right.
Like they've never had to use this, and now they're kind of getting like the understanding of why this is really important. So a lot of what I kind of gleaned from that is that school leaders can really shape technology on campus. So that way the school has a consistent approach that improves outcomes for students, whether it's learning outcomes, whether it's behavioral outcomes, whether it's familial expectations, whatever it is, school leaders have that power to drive that change. And I would definitely want to shout out the school leaders that are in this, because y'all are so important. And definitely just kind of think about, what are you doing to drive that change? What kind of technology are you using? And how can this help to push forward your school's mission and vision?
Exactly, and bring more peace and
right.
How do you say that? Calm to
right.
the
Some more
everyday
harmony
situation. Yeah.
Yes.
Kelly has some contributions also. Kelly, do you want to take the microphone?
Sure. I guess as I was listening to like Victoria saying the whole idea that school leaders need to do that, I think that one of the important things is that having been a school leader, principal for 13 years, and then working with new teachers and being involved in hybrid learning for many, many years, the important thing is to empower your teachers to be leaders. We live in a world where centralized, authoritative kind of top-down is being replaced by a more broad-based look at how people do things. And empowering your teachers to be the leaders is the evolution that we need to move to. And that's what Teams does. I mean, Teams allows us, Microsoft Teams, or you can use Google Classroom, and I mean, there's lots of different tools out there. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that, but there's lots of tools out there, and I think that being aware of those tools is very important. And we can't know it all, and that's the thing that becomes really important, is that some of us are really good at using Teams, whereas other people are good at using OneNote, whereas other people are good at SharePoint, and we need all those contributions. Trying to be an individual that does it all, especially as a leader, and I found that out as a school administrator, was that you can't do it all. You can't run your school and do all those things. You can empower your teachers, support them, give them the ability to be able to try new things and have their back when things go south or things don't work out, right? When there's problems and failures, but to encourage your teachers and help develop their own self-efficacy, because that translates into the self-efficacy of your students, right? Being able to help your students to become independent, and that's what we want. So I think that as we move forward, the whole idea of hybrid learning really emphasizes the fact that the hierarchical top-down kind of power structure that we have been so used to no longer works within the systems that we're working in. Schools have become much more diverse, and we need to embrace that diversity and empower our teachers to be able to make those decisions in the classroom by supporting them. So that's my 2 cents.
You get lots of applause from the people listening to what you have to say, Kelly. Thank you so much for this contribution. Very nice. Yeah, so I'd like to give 2 more people the opportunity to speak, and after that, I'm just going to steal the microphone and do my little TweetMeet talk for people who are new to the TweetMeets. So that will be Mohammed and Sana. Sana's first. Sana, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, sorry. The moment I started talking.
Oh, we can't hear.
No. Sana, I think as soon as you start to speak, your computer or whatever you're using is breaking up, unfortunately. So let's switch to Mohammed. Maybe Sana will come back to us in a bit. Hi, Mohammed, go ahead.
Yes, I just want to talk about our experience when COVID-19 come to our schools in UAE. So everyone go and we have a plan B. So how we can teach students and no one and we don't training teachers as to use these things. So we have some of teachers, not all of them, training on using Teams and using these tools. So our first plan is to find communication between us and between the school. I mean with the parents and the students. So we have found two elements, one for primary school, one for secondary school, like CISO, managed back, something to make teachers communicate with the students. Then at the beginning, we start using sending recording videos, and we set working sheets and something like this to keep students engaging, to keep students working with the teachers. Then we start sending we started training the teachers. In 2 weeks, we have all teachers have been trained and up to you and start and can use Teams. And we create a policy, we create everything from A to Z, how to use Microsoft Teams in remote learning. So we use this one for last year. I think most of last year we have remote learning. At the end, we back. Some students back, COVID-19, go to study from home. Some student absent. Some students at school, so we use hybrid learning from last year. This year, at the beginning, we hope all students come back because hybrid learning is not easy for teachers to how to manage students at school and the students at home. So we just looking for something, bringing some equipment to help teachers moving in the classroom and have all the students from the class and from home. So the students at home, with this equipment we bring to our classrooms, they feel that they are in the classroom. So like using swivel, the RoboCam, which which move with the teachers when the teachers moving in the class. So all students on the class have devices. This one for grade 6 to 12. All our students have devices at the classroom. And the primary school, this one a little bit difficult. We have some students have devices, and we have like a trolley, which we have devices. So and other students at home.
I'm going to interrupt you because you could speak for another hour, and I also have other people who have their hand raised. So what I propose is maybe in the chat or on your Twitter channel, you post the link to your next YouTube webinar, because I know that you organize webinars yourself. So and then people can join you. I'd like to give Sana one more opportunity to speak, and then after that, I really need. I'm sorry, Sushil. I know you want to speak, but please put your contribution in the chat because I do need several minutes for my introduction about TweetMeet. So Sana, do you still want to try and speak? No, Sana? Yes, Sana, do you still want to speak? No? Okay, then in that case, if you allow me to take control of the presentation again, I'm going to share my screen one more time and show you the next, well, this is what we did. I'd like to talk a little bit about the TweetMeets. Of course, you've all met our hosts for the TweetMeet of this coming Tuesday. Some of them weren't here today, but they are very involved on Twitter. So by all means, please follow them. Anitza has posted the link to the Twitter list. that allows you to follow, to first check out each and everyone's profile and then follow each of them. Here's an example of one of our hosts, Tim Clark, who's also on this call, with his TweetMeet host card showing his involvement with hybrid learning. Here's a TweetMeet friend card that all TweetMeet hosts, or sorry, all TweetMeet fans and friends can create to show their involvement with the TweetMeets and their support. And I'd like to talk a little bit about how TweetMeets take place. And what you really need to know about it is TweetMeets are conversations around 5 discussion questions that we craft up front. And in this case, the 5 questions are listed here on your screen. We're going to talk about those 5 questions on Tuesday. So if you haven't already, then please take a look at those questions and come up with your answers. If you don't know a whole lot about hybrid learning, then follow the courses that we link to from the TweetMeet account, attend events, make sure that you know what you're talking about when discussing hybrid learning. Speak from your own experience or learn about it through the courses. So these are the discussion questions for this coming Tuesday. They're roughly 10 minutes apart. And the way we'd like you to contribute to the conversation is if you follow the TweetMeet account on Twitter, you can open one of the tweets on the Twitter account. Let me see if I can quickly switch to the TweetMeet account. So let's say there's a tweet on the TweetMeet account or on any other account from our hosts, for example, that you want to respond to. Then it's very important that you realize that the best way to participate in a TweetMeet is through the mechanism of quote retweets. And if you've never done a quote retweet, then I'm going to show you now. So to quote tweet an existing tweet and provide your comments, click on the retweet button, which you find underneath any tweet. And then instead of directly clicking on retweet, you select the quote tweet option. This will open a new pop-up screen on Twitter where you can type any comment related to that question. So, of course, on Tuesday, we will be posting the questions from our account. Many of our hosts will do the same. We'll post the questions from their account, so you can just choose whoever you want to follow and then use the quote tweet option to respond to the tweet. This has several advantages. Firstly, you can, of course, answer whatever question we're discussing, but it also allows you to really make a difference because you provide your answer and that answer will be visible from your own account, straight from your profile, instead of people needing to jump to your replies tab or jump through all kinds of hoops to find your comments. It will be straight on your profile. There's more information about how to best structure your tweets and about what the TweetMeets are all about in our sways. Anitza, can you please post the links to the 2 sways that we have? So the first one is the TweetMeet starter guide. Anitza has already posted it in our chat. And the other one is the anatomy of the perfect tweet, which is a sway that we created based on my experience of using Twitter for quite a few years. And we have seen that sway really helps people to think ahead before posting on Twitter. Okay, so what else should you know? Well, one of the things that you'll want to do is to make sure that you know how to find tweets back. The simplest way of finding tweets back is by using the search box here on Twitter and just typing in Teams EDU chat. This will allow you to find any tweets about that hashtag, and always make sure that you select the latest tab. Otherwise, you won't see the most recent tab, the most recent tweets. You will only see the top tweets. The next thing you can do is something quite interesting. You could filter all of those tweets by the language that you want to use. So let's say you are a speaker of the Arabic language, then you could say I want to only see tweets that are in Arabic that use this hashtag. So if I now press enter, I'm doing something wrong. AR in small letters, I think. So like this. You will see many tweets, in this case, tweets by Mohammed, who has tweeted a lot about the TweetMeet, and by Dalia from Egypt, who unfortunately cannot be with us today, but who's very active, and several other people who tweet about the TweetMeet in Arabic. Now, I must add, because we have so many Arabic participants in our TweetMeets, we have actually created an entire language track, as we call it, with all promotion images, questions translated and everything in the Arabic language. And to make it even easier to find those tweets back, we have created a separate hashtag for this purpose. And that hashtag specifically for the Arabic language track this month is TweetMeetAR. So even using this search, TweetMeetAR, you will see all tweets by people who know that this is a hashtag that we use a lot, can be entered to find those tweets back. Of course, this assumes that everyone uses that hashtag, and so that's why I gave you that alternative. This also means that if you want to see tweets in one language but not in another, you could also use that same type of search syntax. So let's say, I need to make sure that I type the right thing, Teams EDU chat. You can filter out searches. Let's say you don't want to see tweets that are written in, let's say, written in Dutch. I don't know if there are many tweets written in Dutch, but let's assume you can enter that command, that language command, but with a little hyphen in front of it, and that will exclude all tweets written in that language. If you want to know what language commands are available on Twitter, click here on the triple dot, and this will take you to advanced search. And from there, you can then select language. And here you can see all the languages that Twitter allows you to filter tweets on. So I definitely recommend that you play with these settings. And once you understand how all that works, then you're ready for the next step. And the next step is for you to play with a tool called Tweetdeck, which is a Twitter dashboard. Well, I'm giving you a peek at what my Tweetdeck looks like, or actually the TweetMeet account's Tweetdeck looks like. It's quite elaborate, as you can see, because my screen is filled with columns. From the tiny little screen that I'm using here, I cannot really see the very tiny text right now, but I can tell how many tweets are there. And I can also jump to any of those columns, and I have columns for every single host here, as you can see. So that's one way to monitor Twitter. Basically by adding columns, and you can add a column by pressing the plus symbol here in your TweetDeck. So we don't have enough time to really dive into TweetDeck, but if you want to take the next step, then I would highly suggest that you explore TweetDeck. It's like the #1 tool, free tool that people can use to monitor tweets. I'd like to quickly show you the TweetMeet starter guide that we produced. It contains everything you need to know about the TweetMeets. It's available both in English and in Arabic, also in Spanish, by the way, for Spanish speakers on this webinar. And it contains all kinds of tips about how to best participate in a TweetMeet. What I also would like to point out today is we have made the TweetMeets fully multilingual starting this month. And that means that anyone can participate in any language they want. And that is so critical because we know a lot of people do understand the English questions, but that doesn't mean they also know how to write in English about that topic. And so we've decided that going forward, you can now participate in the TweetMeet in any language that you like. And the way to do this, let me see if I can find this. Do I have? Oh, I have a slide about that. Let me go back. I have a slide. Here, and then want to join the TweetMeet in your own language. This is an animated GIF that we made that is freely available for you to use from our image collection. Anita, do you want to point the a link to the full public image collection that we have, which is our shortened URL and then image-collection. So to respond to a tweet in your own language, you follow the same approach as I described before by using the quote tweet option and then answering in your own language. And if you're not entirely sure what the English tweet is about, you can use the translate tweet option that is available underneath every single tweet to get a translation into your own language. So that is the animated GIF that we have for the multilingual aspect of our TweetMeets. The other thing that you need to know before I really stop talking is our TweetMeets are now, I'll stop sharing my screen. Our TweetMeets are now so-called slow chats, and that means anyone can participate in a TweetMeet at a time that suits you best. That means if you're asleep or if the timing is just not convenient for you, given what your job is or your family commitments, then please participate at a time that serves you better. We'll be monitoring the conversation for several days after. So please pass this on to anyone who complains to you, hey, why is this TweetMeet not at a time that is more convenient for me? Well, it's impossible to do that given the global nature of the TweetMeets. And so that's why we're offering the TweetMeets as slow chats. Does it make sense?
This is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, you like how things are going. Okay, so what the people who are not hosts may not know is the 12 or 13 hosts that we have this month, 13 that we have this month have been through a whole program in which we, in the past few weeks, in which we've tried to train them as much as possible about what it takes to be a host and how to best structure their tweets, all the resources that we make available. And so we're really building that spirit for everyone to make Tuesday's event a success. All right, any questions? Are there any comments in the chat that I should pay attention to, Anita? Open the chat. I saw that Takrit is also here. Takrit has been making huge steps in learning how Twitter works, how PowerPoint templates work. I'm very proud of you, Takrit. I don't know if you can hear me, but I know I saw your image just a few moments ago. Thank you so much for being with us and joining us every time. So anything else that we need to talk about? There's one person who has his hand up. Sean wants to say something. Hi, Sean.
Yeah. Hi there. Normally on a Tuesday, I'm outside teaching practicals, so I've managed to sort of sometimes just rush and get to my mobile, but yeah, it hasn't been ideal really. And so this week is obviously half term, so I have a chance to be there on my Tweetdeck and on my laptop. But sort of how going forward, say another TweetMeet and going back, what's the best way I can sort of go through the tweets and really pick up sort of what's been said and you know, learn from it really? What would you suggest? Anything at all?
Yeah, so let me first ask you, Sean, can you hold your phones in such a way that we can actually see you instead of the ceiling? Yes, that's a lot better.
Apologies.
Thank you. That's so much better. So after the TweetMeet is over, we'll be publishing a full archive of the TweetMeet containing the most important tweets. That's several thousands of tweets. It's impossible for us to offer you a customized collection of tweets that will be most relevant to you, because that would just not be doable for the small team that we have. But what I do recommend is make sure that you select a couple of people that you really want to follow, put them in a Twitter list, So if you're not familiar with Twitter lists, you're in for a treat. Every Twitter user has Twitter lists available to them. And I would suggest build that Twitter list of the people you really want to follow. And you can even use a Twitter command to filter the tweets from the people on that Twitter list to find the topics that you're most interested in. So that's what I personally would do. So reduce, and then if you don't get enough, you can always expand. That's what I would do. Does that answer your question?
That's really good advice.
Yeah?
Yes, it does actually. Thank you. I just got added to a list and I did wonder what that was. So now I know. Thank you.
How you know? So Twitter lists are a way to follow the tweets from a whole group of people, but it becomes really meaningful when you start to understand that there's also a list search command on Twitter. And the way that works is you use the unique list ID that belongs to any person's Twitter list, and then type the search words that you want to use. And I can, Anita, maybe you can use the T-list command, and then in this case, choose the list command that you can select from, and it will show the number of the Twitter list that belongs to this month's hosts. And then you can type any search command after it. Sausan has been using Wakelet. Yes, that's awesome. Very nice tool. So using list commands is, of course, yeah. So what I actually meant, let me type in the command that I meant. So the address that Anita just pasted is the address of the entire group, and you can then do something else, and that's this T-list command for this month. And then you can, for example, type this, hybrid learning. So if you just copy this command and then paste that into a Twitter search, you will see that you will only see the tweets by this month's host that are relevant for hybrid learning. Why don't I just try this out for you in Twitter real quick. So I'm going to start Twitter and then paste that command here. I do need to make sure that my own name is not there. So the command that I'm entering is lists and then a number and then hybrid learning. Do you see that in the search box on, oh, you don't see my screen. Wait a second. This is one of those typical mistakes that I make. Okay, so here's my Edge browser, highly recommend, by the way, where I've entered in the search box the list command with the list ID for the host of this month, and then the hashtag hybrid learning. This means I will only see those tweets by this month's hosts that have been tagged with the tag hybrid learning. And so if I press enter now, I'm doing something wrong. Okay, sorry. Now I said, it's because that little screen is so tiny. Okay, so you will now see all the tweets by all the hosts that contain the hashtag hybrid learning. So these tweets are super relevant, right? And don't forget to always select the latest tab when doing a Twitter search. And here you see tweets by Kelly, by Victoria, by Anna, by Tim. You see how relevant this is? Highly relevant, I would say. Yeah? You like it? Good. Was this
Absolutely.
new to everyone? Did everyone else know this trick or not?
No, you just you brought so many tips and hacks and information and lists and Excels and one knows. I'm shocked. There's so much information. We need to learn a lot from you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. All right. So unless anyone else has something to contribute, I would like to thank everyone for being here with us today. from the looks of it, it seems that the webinars are a welcome contribution to our conversation. So I think we'll organize a new one next month. And I'd like to thank everyone for being here today, and looking forward to seeing you all on Tuesday. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was great.
You're welcome.